Alright guys, in this video I'm just gonna quickly talk about propagating Portulacaria Afra. In particular, this one is a variegated form. So I had a few Portulacaria Afra variegated that I cut from my wife's plant. So I had this dry for about a week or so, and what I did was, just want to show you. Roots will typically grow at the bottom, of course, and then but around the node, around where the segment is connected. So for example, for this particular one, it's probably gonna grow around here, and since this is pretty close to that node, it's probably gonna come down here. So that's how the Portulacaria Afra will grow its roots when you try to propagate it. Okay, so I'm doing a quick experiment wherein I have a few of these nodes, like the connection between these segments, to be buried under soil just to see if they're gonna root as well on this section. Most of the time I see they're coming down from the bottom, from the very bottom segment or the node, the connection between the nodes or connection between the segments right here. All right. So one other thing is to understand, when you're working with Portulacaria Afra like this, they don't root immediately. It takes a while for them to root, right? Since they actually have a lot of water in the stem as well as in the leaves itself, so it takes a while. But if you leave it long enough out there to dry out, it actually will start to root by its own, even though you don't stick them in soil. So I'm going to show you one of them that I have, like this one. So this is kind of like almost, drying up. Let me see if it can try to focus. Yeah, there you go. But as it dries up here, you can see the leaves here that they're kind of almost dry. The root is actually, the stem is actually trying to push out some roots here. You can see, yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. The white part is trying to push out some roots. So if I put this in soil, I'm hoping that this will still survive, right? Even though it's kind of like almost drying out. So, but we will see. I'll do a follow-up, to show you whether this particular one will survive or not. All right. Okay. So what I'm gonna be doing is, this is my own kind of like mix. Okay. You can see there's three kinds of soil mix in here. Let me just pick up one of each. Okay, so here we go. So this one is actually pumice, right? So pumice is good in retaining soil and also, retaining water and also holding on to air inside. So it's going to be 33% pumice, 33% water, and 33% air, of course, approximately. This one is Turfis MVP. It's a calcine clay, that can absorb water really quickly. And this one is pine bark, or also orchid bark, right? So this is how I mix them up, because I had tried this mix before, and they seem to be rooting pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to try to stick all of this in here and then try to see how long it will take for them to root. I'll probably check back in about 4 weeks. It's already springtime, so in springtime, this Portulacaria Afra will grow pretty quickly, so they will probably root pretty quickly. So I'll check back in about 4 weeks after I stick them in here. So all right, so it's gonna be pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna remove a few of this here. This is 33% of each of those three soil or medium, growing medium. All right, so I'm just gonna stick them here. This should be pretty straightforward. Just put out. So since this doesn't have any root yet, it's just dried out for about 1 week or so. So I'm gonna stick that in here. So one more thing. What I want to do is I'm gonna bury it, all of this connection between the segments, right? I'm gonna bury it up to here, just to see in about 4 weeks, to see if there's gonna be any root coming out from here, 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 and here, and here. All right. So but my guess is gonna root just here, right, at the very end. All right. So let's see. So it's gonna be somewhere here. So I'm gonna put the soil up to here. That's one. So this one has about 2 nodes right here, one here and one here. All right, there's 2 nodes. So that's one I'm going to be buried up to here. All right, and then let me see this one. It has multiple nodes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to bury it up to here. Sorry about that. And we'll see if there's going to be any root in any of these segments here. All right, and then this one that has a root coming out, I'm just going to bury it up to here. All right, so let's try that. It's good. This one seems to be too high. That's it. Too tight, but it should be good enough. I'll water this and then we'll see how it goes. All right. I'm gonna water this until the water comes out. It's the first water, it's okay. I think a lot of people saying that you shouldn't be watering this, but my soil is really dry. They all came out from the package dry, so I want to make sure it's moist once, and then I'll wait probably every few days to water it again. All right. So yeah, the pumice that I bought is not washed by the seller, so that's why you're seeing the runoff. That's okay. It works. I've used this before, so this should be fine. All right. So that's it. Alright guys, this is just a quick follow-up. It's almost exactly 3 weeks after I put these cuttings in this pot, this variegated Portulacaria Afra. I took a peek. I think there are some roots, so today I'm gonna actually bring all of this out and repot it in a bigger pot, because I don't want them to be staying here in a small pot. I just want to make sure that they're given a chance to grow as fast as possible, so that I can create a bonsai from out of this cuttings, right? So let's start. So I'm just gonna go through and then dig them out, and then fast forward the video a little bit, and then come back to it once I get it out. Okay. Alright guys, so that wasn't too bad. We got some pretty good root growth in all of them. Remember this particular one, it was almost dying. it was almost dried up, etc., right? And it has a very tiny root that was growing out of it. I don't know if you remember, so it had a very tiny root, but now you see after just about 3 weeks, it had developed quite a bit of root system here, and it's still going strong, right? If I didn't touch this, it's probably gonna be really long in about a month or so. And you can see, even though I buried them, really deep, they all started to root at the very bottom. I did watch a video, I think it was from Cornell University. They talked about root system. The root system has kind of like a genetic programming that will dig deep, really deep, as fast as possible to get the water. So I guess, in this short experiment, you will see that it is only, rooting at the very end of it. So at the very end of the cuttings, the very last node where the segments, the stem segments connect, that's when it actually rooted, right? You can see here. But I've had seen some experience that after this, if they grow very long and they touch the bottom and they start rooting out, they will start to root, upwards, along the stem here, So it will root upwards and along the stem as whatever is buried, it will root outwards. But when you start, it's gonna start at the very bottom, like all these three. So yeah, so that was a very good experiment. It's only about 3 weeks. A few things to note. It's currently springtime, and basically the soil I use for this particular one, if it can focus, but you can see this, it is 33% MVP or turf face or calcined clay, 33% pumice, and 33% pine bark or orchid. So that's what I use to root this. But as you can see, I haven't watered this for about I think today is about Tuesday, April. Let me see what's the day today. Today is April 27th, Tuesday. I watered this last around Saturday. So you can see the soil is still kind of moist at the bottom here. At the bottom, right? It's kind of moist still. So it's probably good for rooting, but I don't think it's good long term for this one. It has established roots, but because it might develop root rot. So I would go back and use, succulent soil mix and make sure that it's not too moist, in the soil, or let it dry out. That's gonna be my default strategy. So yeah, so these 4, I'll be putting them in 2 different kind of pots. One, of course, is one of those this one grow bags, 1 gallon grow bags, like folded in half. And then I'm gonna be trying this new pot I found on the internet. I think it came from China. Oh yeah, not I think, but I'm pretty sure it came from China. So I'm gonna try to pot this, 2 of them, on this grow bag, and 2 of them on this particular, a lot of holes on the side. So the main reason that I'm gonna be doing that is, because I've read a lot about how to grow, this succulents fast and thick in terms of the stem, and I did find out that, with the smaller pot, but if you have, like a grow bag or holes on the sides, more holes on the sides, you'll be able to, the plant will be able to grow much faster. The reason being, when the strategy is called root pruning. So basically, when the roots reach this side of the grow bag, the edge of the grow bag, it will actually dehydrate. And once it dehydrates, right, it's going to tell the plant, okay, hey, I'm dehydrated, so you need to produce, other roots. So it's going to produce more roots, right? More roots. So finer roots. And then over time, right, it keeps on doing that. It keeps on hitting the walls of this particular grow bag, or even this particular pot with a lot of holes on the side, when the roots dehydrate, you keep on growing smaller roots, right? And based on my research, if you have plants with smaller roots and finer roots, or what they call more fibrous roots, they have the opportunity to to basically suck in more water and also the nutrients on the soil, right, or in the soil, right? So that's kind of like my strategy here, is to get these guys to grow really quick, right? So maybe in a year's time, I'm hoping that they'll have enough thickness in their branches or in their trunk, so that I can start, kind of like styling them as bonsai, right? So that's kind of like what my strategy is. So I'll go ahead and fill all of this up and then speed up the video. Fill this up with sand, with the soil that I prefer to use, and then yeah, enjoy the show. All right. So the purpose of putting this in two different kind of pots is to see which one will grow better. Whether this pot with multiple holes on the sides, a solid pot, will work better for this plant, or this grow bag will work better for this plant. But both of them will basically make sure the roots are air pruned, right? So that they will develop a very fibrous root system. So yeah, so make sure that you hit the like button if you think this is helpful, and make sure to subscribe, so once we do give you an update on this in a few months, and you will be sure to see what's going on, right? Which one is doing better. All right. So yeah, thank you for watching, and happy gardening.